The gentlelady yields. The chair recognizes the chairman of the committee, Mr. Guthrie, for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Hi, thank you. Thank you all for being here. As I said earlier, this is very important to me, and we got to get this right. We absolutely have to get it right. So, Mr. Massa, obviously the Kentucky case is important to me as well. It should be important to all of us. You know, the response that KYDA, I know that you came after that, but the response in the report, quote, is the potential donor was treated on the Kentucky Index case, was treated following standard protocols for DCD, the proper guardrails were in place, and worked to the expectations, policies, and procedures for all regulatory agencies. KYDA is satisfied and confident in the donation process. Do you think that was an adequate response to the issue of that case? That seemed to be the gist of the response back.
Thank you, Congressman Guthrie, for your question. As I mentioned before, we know that with any successful donation, it occurs with frequent communication. And I think in this case, especially, given that it was very unique, both the circumstances and the time, that even further communication needed to be done on this case. And I don't think that occurred on that case.
But when the OPTN asked for KYDA to give them a response, that's the response. When they did an assessment of what happened, that's their actual response. It's not, this happened during the case or didn't. The response was everything essentially was fine.
Well, again, I think on this particular case, the process was followed. The process was followed, but there was a lot of unique things that could have been done better.
Okay, so thanks. And so also it said the records provided to HRSA show potentially, okay, so how does Network of Hope plan to address the issues identified in the report? Particularly, the report says, records provided to HRSA show potentially serious and ongoing risk to patients, families, as well as failures by KYDA and the OPTN to adequately recognize and respond to poor patient care and quality practices. So that was in the report to you. I know that some have said that's the hospital situation, but as it applies to OPTN or your network, how do you plan to respond to that, I guess?
As far as the things that we put in place?
It says, failed to recognize poor patient care and quality practices. So how are you responding to that? Are you changing your procedures for that or from the HRSA
We have
report?
changed.
I know you just got it a week ago, but I know you've had to have digested it, but what is your first take on it? I know you haven't had a chance to implement.
We took everything that was reported in that report very seriously, and we are doing our own internal investigation into these cases. As you mentioned, we just got this report a few days ago, thanks to this committee. But one thing in the report that's making it difficult is that the donor numbers being used in the report do not match the donor numbers that we provided. So we're trying to do a crosswalk, and we've asked for a crosswalk of those donor numbers so we could get into the specifics that we have not yet received.
Okay.
But given that...
We'll work with Dr. Lynch to make sure you get that. But given, I mean, the overall confidence in the system, what is your assessment of what's going on today? The confidence in the system that we can have?
Well, I think the changes that we have put in place with Network for Hope bring about more trust into the system. We have devised a checklist for every nurse that is on a DCD case, and we provide that to them in real time. We did the same thing with every attending physician, a checklist so that they know what their role is on the DCD donor, as well as what the role of the hospital is, as well as the role of the OPO. We also developed a 10-minute video that they can access through a QR code that literally goes from the very beginning of a DCD donor to the very end, and everything that's expected in between. We've implemented hard stops so that during any part of the process, we have huddles with everyone involved in the care and the treatment of that DCD donor, so that if any concerns are raised, they can raise those concerns at that time or at other times in the process. So I think we've put together quite a bit of changes since that case, and I think going forward, we will never have a case like that again.
Okay. And so there just seemed to be some tone in the report of several cases. I think about 30% of the cases they looked at that had some issues. So not just the Kentucky Index case, but overall, how are you planning to address it? Like I said, I want everybody to sign up to be an organ donor.
And we want the same thing. And as I mentioned, we are putting in multiple changes in our processes so that these kind of things do not reoccur. And we're still doing our investigation into those cases. But as I mentioned, we take this seriously, and we're going to work with HRSA to implement the changes that they want.
Thank you. My time's expired now.